our plain lives. Hussein's mercy, Hussein's adha, Hussein's masaib, that's what is important. Whether it is on Sunday or on Monday should not affect us. Let's come to Ali ibn al-Hussein. As soon as the month of Ramadan would come, whenever the month of Ramadan would come, not as soon as, whenever, Imam's policy would change. He had numerous servants in his house, numerous slaves in his house. They would do the work. At times they would make a mistake. He would tell them, hello, you made a mistake. You kept this glass so close to the table. Look, it has fallen down, it's broken. And next time try to keep it inside. You've put a little more salt inside. I'm not criticizing you, but try to put salt a little less next time. He would always explain if they make a mistake. Come the month of Ramadan, his entire attitude would change. Because now as soon as the month of Ramadan would come, he would take a book, a pen. Every mistake that the people would do, the slaves, he would not tell them anything. He would write down the name, he would write down the offense or the mistake and the time. From the first night to the last night, all the mistakes, all the misdemeanors, all the offenses done by the slaves, done by the Kanizas in his house in the month of Ramadan would be noted by the name, by the offense, by the crime, by the inadvertence, the date, detail recorded. Days would move, days would pass. He would not tell them anything. He would not speak to them anything. Just observe, recorded. Observe, recorded. Till the last night of the month of Ramadan. Tradition says, when the last night of the month of Ramadan would come, he would call all his slave people. He would call all the slave girls. He would make them stand around. The males over here, the females over here. He would sit in the middle, sitting before them. He would take out their books. Then he would call out, Fulan, I have got a record of all the misdemeanors that you did and all the offenses that you did in the month of Ramadan. I'm calling them out, except whether you've done it or not. You, Mr. Abdullah, on this date you did this. On this date you did this. On this date you did this. Do you accept? He would say, Yabna Rasulullah, I've accepted this mistake. I also accept that you've never corrected me in this month. He will go to the next person. Fulan, on this date you did this. On this date you did this. Tradition says, every individual, he will call out by name, he will point out their mistakes, and he will get the acknowledgement from them. Yes, we did this, we did this. When the entire setup would finish, he would stand up. He would come and stand beneath them. Then he would tell them, I am your master. You are my slaves. I am commanding you to say out what I am going to teach you. They would say, Yabna Rasulullah, what is it that you are going to teach us? He says, as I tell you, you have to tell me. As I dictate to you, you have to repeat it to me. You have to be like a parrot. Don't feel bad. Don't feel offended. But whatever I say, you have to repeat it to me. Say, what should we say? He would say, tell, Ya Ali ibn al-Hussein, from the month of Ramadan, from the start of the month, you have been writing these details about us. And you have been recording our crimes. Remember Ali ibn al-Hussein. Now this is what Imam Sajjad is telling those slave people to tell him. What? Ali ibn al-Hussein, from the first of the month, you are recording our deeds. Remember, there is this God Allah who's recording our deeds. After the whole month, you have put up a dossier for us. Remember Ali ibn al-Hussein, Allah has created a dossier for you. Just as you have been asking us and taking accounting, a day will come, Ya Zain al-Abidin, that this Allah will take your accounting. And remember, as you have been asking us and getting the acknowledgement from us, remember, you are doing this to us, a day will come and Allah will do this to you. He's telling them to tell him. After narrating all this, he would tell them, tell me. He will stand in the middle. One side the male servants, other side the female servants. He will stand. Their mouths would not open. He would command them, I am your master, tell this to me. They would not listen, saying, I am ordering you, tell this to me. Fearing and frightful, they would tell him, Ya Ali ibn al-Hussein, just as you have recorded our deeds, God has recorded your deeds. Just as you have made a measure and a dossier about us, God has taken a measure and a dossier about you. Just as you have taken the acknowledgement from us, God will take the acknowledgement from you. But remember, this God is very powerful. This God can have mercy. If you have mercy upon us, God will have mercy upon you. Tradition says, as this is being being stated to Ali ibn al-Hussein, he puts his hand down and begins to weep, and begins to weep. When they say once, he says, keep repeating. When they finish it second time, he says, keep repeating. They keep repeating. They keep telling Ali ibn al-Hussein, be careful of God. And Ali ibn al-Hussein puts his hands on his face, weeping and weeping. After a time, he says, stop. When they stop, he puts his hand on top. Oh Allah, this Ali ibn al-Hussein, your servant is before you. Just as you are going to check me, I have checked them. As I have checked them, you will check me. As I have taken them to task, you will take me to task. But look at Ali ibn al-Hussein. I have forgiven them. He will turn to them and says, all the offenses that you've done, I have forgiven you. All the misdemeanors that you've done, I have overlooked it. Then he will turn to God and say, Allah fashhad, bear witness that the servant of God, the servant of you, has done the same thing that you will do. But he has forgiven them. He has overlooked them. And this Ali ibn al-Hussein is now seeking from you the same forgiveness that he's done to the slaves, and the same overlooking of the sins as you have done to them. And he will keep saying it till he ends, and then he will say, tomorrow the night of Eid, I am freeing you. Go be liberated. Go be free. Once they have been told to become free, he again turns to God and say, Ya Allah, these servants of mine were servants of mine. I, out of my bounty, have forgiven them and I have liberated them. But this Ali ibn al-Hussein is your servant. This Ali ibn al-Hussein is your slave. Just as I have freed them from punishment, free Ali ibn al-Hussein from the fires of hell. This is Ali ibn al-Hussein. Assalamu ala al-Hussein wa ala Ali ibn al-Hussein wa ala awlad al-Hussein. We talk big that we are followers of the Ahlul Bayt. We talk very big that we are the Muhibb of Ahlul Bayt. This is Ahlul Bayt. This man who's got the control of the universe in his hands, Ali ibn al-Hussein. This man who is the grandson of that man who is called the Qasimul Jannat wa Nar, who will distribute the paradise and hell tomorrow night, you will see. This man is standing amongst the graves and crying and telling them, tell Ali ibn al-Hussein, be careful how you behave with the slaves, because the way you behave with the slave, this God will behave with you. Haqqun Nas. We need to get our bearings right. Call ourselves Muhibb of Ahlul Bayt. This is how the Ahlul Bayt behave. How do we behave with our servants, with our employees? All this amama, these things, it's all useless.